Okay. What I'm putting together today, I'm working on the chairs, and remember I told you about this chair that's got some problems with it. I didn't like how straight it was. I didn't like how I created the arms here. I didn't like any of that. So this is the table. I'll show you this in a minute. I'm making chairs. Now, I made myself 2 pattern templates just for the bottoms, and these are pretty small chairs. These are going to go in this section, this bottom section of the A-frame. So I made this chair pattern, this is for the little seat, and then I made this little template just to show where I needed to remove areas. And you can see here on the top of the chair I've removed enough for the little back pieces to go in. And then if I flip it over, you can see there these here, and you can see it begins to split. The board begins to split a little bit, the gray board, which is, you know, that's what it does. It's gray board. It's, you know, and this is some packing material that I veneered the top and bottom with. So they're gonna go like this. And then I need to, before I put everything together, I need to create the little armrest, which as you can see, I want it to be a little bit more curved this direction. And because I'm working very small, I can use a lot of my small gray board scraps and my small carton board pieces. I did a, how should I put it? I did a concerted straightening up of the midden, and this I like this storage method. This is like a giant peanut butter jar that I saved. This is a nice one because I can see what's in here, because sometimes I do just need like little pieces of stuff. So what I'm going to be doing, and I'm going to make these out of single pieces. These little pieces, I'm going to make a template, and then you can see it's only out of one, like this is 2 millimeters worth of board. So then it'll rest flat like this. So like the arm, I'm just free drawing this, would kind of look like that almost. And those shouldn't take that long to cut out, because cutting through the gray board is not that big of a deal. The only part of it right now that kind of bugs me is these portions. These up here are not very hard. I'm going to show you how I do those. Put this lid on, get that out of the way, get that out of the way. I've been cutting these 2 top ones out first. And if I have a nice sharp blade, I come in and kind of start nibbling away at it. And once I've made those 2 cuts there that I can barely see right now, I can kind of go in and basically pre-cut bits of the bottom off. And it kind of comes out looking like a bit of a parallelogram. You can see the bits are coming out here. And this is recycled gray board, so it's not like, it's tough, but it's not something that's not easily cut through. And remember, this gray board is like just like the back of a notebook. And then I run the bamboo through a bit. And before I glue things in, I'll come in and do a little bit of sanding. Now, cutting these little holes out is a little tougher. And basically, I use a technique that I just call stab. And you can see, they almost look like those little cuneiform, like marks that are on the brick. Not brick. Well, they became brick when they were fired. That type of writing, cuneiform. And then these just get kind of popped out. And you can see it exposes everything underneath. And basically all I do, I'm trying to get through at least 2 millimeters of it. And I just continue going around and around until it'll begin to kind of, can you see how that kind of starts fraying apart a little bit? And you can pull it out and just continue going around until I've pulled out at least 2 millimeters. And I'm getting pretty close there. I have a little, and then sometimes it'll start to kind of fuzz up. And for that, I have tweezers to get in here and pull things out. I'll also take a, and you can see it makes a pretty decent hole. That's about 1.5 millimeters, I think. So that's how I'm doing the little chair seats. Now I'm making a table. The table is going to be cut. It's not going to be fully visible. It's going to be cut about like this. I'm going to cut about 1/3 of it off, and it's going to be mounted into the back wall. And I've already got the table legs here and this centerpiece that these are going to be built around. Now, I very easily could have just made this one continuous piece. I just didn't want to fiddle with it when I know that I'm going to be cutting some things in half. And as I was looking at this, you can tell that there's some things wrong with it. I've made a template out of a piece of carton board, and you can see this part I've marked off is just too big. Now, when it comes to stuff like that, I just come through and start nibbling it off. I've also found that when I'm working with this board, you can see it's kind of wonky. I kind of did it, it's like sideways. Yeah, you can really see it there. So I do try really hard just to nibble it off, and that's partially due to my tools that I have, the tools that I'm working with, and knowing that I'm going to run some carton board around the edges to veneer it. So I can come in here and sand it a bit with my little piece of sandpaper on here. And I think there's where's the other piece? There was another little bit on there that I wanted to get off. There it is, right there. You know, I kind of do my best to kind of keep everything vertical and horizontal. I know that this would be 1,000,000 times easier if perhaps I had like one of those laser cutter things, but I shouldn't say those laser cutter things, a laser cutter. But for me personally, I like the imprecise precision of working by hand, if that makes any sense. So once I get this trimmed to the size I want it to be, I'm going to be finding the middle, putting a small hole in the center where I'll sink this in about 2 millimeters, and then work on, because I think only 2 of these are going to be seen. So if this is mounted into the middle and these are here, and they are a true X here, only 2, maybe 2.5 of them will be seen. So I'll be cutting these pieces down because they're going to need to be cut on a diagonal to fit against the wall, because I'll act as though they just came up to the wall. And the reason I'm doing the X's and not something like, oh, put legs on it or something, is because I am trying to I want the construction to kind of emulate some of the dollhouse furniture that I had as a child, and that includes the Little People, because the vintage Fisher-Price Little People, if you played with them, my American followers, you'll know that the chairs were curved and they had kind of a little recessed seat. They didn't have legs on them, but like I said, I'm emulating. I'm not making like absolutely perfect. If I were making this truly a Little People, it would have a much shorter, I mean, it would only be about a 1.5 centimeters instead of 3 centimeters. So that is what I'm working on right now. So hopefully in the next video I'll have some more things to show you, including a lot of these things cut out. And I've also got to figure out how I'm going to be bending some pieces to go around the back section. You can see here that's got to bend, and I've got a couple of different ways that I can do it. One includes wood. So it might be one of those times where I finally get to use a technique that I haven't gotten to use yet, which is bending wood, which is actually not that hard. So thank you, patrons. I will see you in the next video.